Oh, okay. We just spent like 45 minutes of technical issues. Just put in
Sorry.
both headphones. We might just need to get new equipment to make it work with the equipment.
Yes,
we
we're
have.
looking for sponsors. So if any of you would like to sponsor this podcast to help us with some equipment, or even someone that is an educator, trainer, tutor that can come and make this a little bit easier, because we've got like 4 mics going on, an iPhone, maybe an iPad as a backup, GarageBand. I mean, we're just, it's baptism by fire over here, but it's been working well for the last 17 podcasts. We've just struggled these last couple. And so we found out that you'd have to do what with the headphones?
What do you mean?
Don't you have to put them
Oh, yeah. Put both of your AirPods or earbuds or whatever you're listening on. You have to have both of them in, because if with our current sound issues, whatever we're saying, if you don't, you'll hear only one of us. So you'll be hearing Julie in one ear and me in the other. So put both your earbuds in.
Does that make people have like vertigo? Does that make it dizzy?
It doesn't make me dizzy. That's how I do it when my kids are around, so that I can, it's like having the radio play in the background for me and get stuff done. I listen to tons of podcasts that way.
You mean with one ear?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I mean, does it make people dizzy when there's you in one ear and me in the, is it like, like do you get
I don't think so.
Dizzy? Yeah, I don't either. But my back already hurts. And my kidneys are hurting. I get kidney stones, so every time I have pain in my kidneys, I'm like,
I didn't know that.
Yes, I've had 3. They're so bad. But we're going to get right into it so that I'm not too exhausted. Although Carly gave me a Dr. Pepper with cream soda. Maybe I will start to perk up here in a minute. But you guys are getting this almost in real time. I'm going to be releasing this on Monday morning. I was just wondering when I should be releasing this, because I just started publishing at 5 in the morning. But we find out that some people have listened and liked by 6 and 7 a.m. And I'm like, holy cow. But then thank you to our East Coasters, listeners in the UK and on Australia. We're thankful for all of you. So you're going to be getting this Monday morning, and it is now Friday night, February 6th.
Yeah.
So is that the 9th? February 9th is Monday. So in 3 days, this is as current as it gets, people. Read all about it. Here we go. So I had a hearing on Thursday. It was a very eventful week. I saw more of the petitioner than I have
in months?
In probably years.
Wow. Okay.
Several times this week, which was
because before the hearing was a baptism.
Yes, we had a baptism and an ordination. And if you see my eyes looking like I'm distracted or not listening to her, I'm just watching the computer to make sure that both of our mics are on. But we had Kenya, who got baptized on Saturday, January 31st, and then the following day on Sunday, Ari was ordained a deacon. And I know that people are just eyeing my Instagram and YouTube and trying to see who's in the water, whose hands are placed upon her head, because that's how it was last time.
Oh, the drama.
It is. It's so dramatic. So I was explaining to Carly that we had a mediation, our third mediation with a judge. This is what is ordered and expected and mandatory before you are certified for trial. You have to go into another mediation. We've had 2 failed mediations at this point. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like again, but they make you do it. So in this mediation, one of opposing counsel's things that they wanted us to agree to was that the petitioner would have all ordinances done by him.
Which we talked about on an earlier podcast.
We have talked about this before. And he, I understand, like it's this father's supposed right, it's a rite of passage that it's a
tradition.
Yes. Cultural, right? Because think of all the missionaries that have baptized, what I mean? And all the uncles and grandfathers and bishops who have ordained,
right.
know?
Oh yeah. We talked about this because my brother baptized one of my kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to, and I'm putting my hands in quotations, take this away from the dad, probably only matters when you've grown up with it. When it's, I don't know, when it's been done for generations. But
it's not, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is it's an
doesn't matter who does it.
Well, it doesn't matter who does it, but it's an ordinance, and it's the ordinance that matters, right?
Yes.
It's about the covenant that you are making, right?
Right.
It's about you are being washed clean, right? Like you are being pronounced clean and you're receiving the Holy Ghost and you're declaring that you want to bear Christ's name. Like these are the important things. The person that says the same prayer that another person would say
it's not
does not matter.
It's like a high fitness class or a kickboxing class where it's the same every week, like the same choreography. It's the same verbiage. It's the same wording. Like there's not really anything special about it other than
your name.
Yeah, exactly. That's different. And the person who's doing it really doesn't matter. It's up to the person getting baptized.
It doesn't matter for your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your salvation, right? Like this is a saving ordinance, but there's no saving part to who does it.
Right. And in the church handbook, it states that the person getting baptized gets to ultimately choose who they want to have baptize them. I mean, even in my mission, the people that the missionaries are teaching, the person getting baptized gets to choose one of the missionaries if they want. And you just suck it up. Like, oh, she didn't choose me. Dang it. But I mean, it's just, but girls don't have to worry about that because we don't do the baptizing. Anyway, having said all of this, Kenya turned 8 in November. And my bishop has kind of been on me like, okay, when are we going to get her baptized? And I'm like, look, this is very delicate. Like this is in the paperwork. It is in the decree that he has the right to baptize, to ordain, to do all of these church ordinances as long as he is deemed worthy by his bishop, which is a whole nother topic of conversation, whether or not you're worthy, because you can be worthy to baptize, but not to confirm. And anyway, that didn't seem to matter to anybody, but the fact of the matter is Kenya did not choose the petitioner. She chose Grandpa to baptize her and my next door neighbor, Scott Raymond, who is dear to the whole family. He has saved us on so many occasions. I mean, with fire alarms, with broken gates and just come to our aid, shoveled our walks, like just this.
He's just always there.
A great guy. And he is in her life more than her dad. And it made sense that she chose him. And he was so honored and touched, and it was so sweet. But I was like, oh, crap, like this is going to cause a problem. And I'm going to be to blame. It's always me that's to blame for it, because he, under the court statute has the right to baptize. But I was also under the impression that he had to also be chosen by the person getting baptized. And I remember, somebody saying, oh, I don't know if that's her decision to make. And I was like, excuse me?
Right.
Like,
who else's choice would it be?
Yeah, the courts, apparently.
I mean, I understand. I've been on the other side where the person that I know in a divorce is the man, right? And I have heard men talk about their ex-wives as though they're crazy, and anything that the kid comes home and says, that they disagree with, or oh, their mom must have taught them that. Oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden the ex-wife is, and I don't know what to believe, but I used to just assume that what he was saying was right.
Mm-hmm.
That he must.
Well, that's why that's a term.
Crazy,
the bitter
right?
ex-wife.
Right. I mean, and so it like either side is going to assume the worst, and he's going to assume that it wasn't her choice, that it was your choice, and you put her up to it. Like it doesn't matter what you say, because you're getting divorced for a reason, which means he doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
He doesn't assume the best of you. He makes you out to be something that the rest of us don't see, because
so surely she picked Grandpa and the neighbor because I poisoned the well, not because he's not in their lives at all.
Right. Right. It's your fault, not his.
Right. Yeah. And that's why there's so many memes and Instagram posts that say, how dare I talk about, how badly we've been treated. And it's my fault for talking about what you did to us. Like, how dare I talk about the harm you've caused,
right.
like
not
they
how dare you cause harm. It's how dare I talk about the harm you caused. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I was like in this kind of a pickle, and that's why she hasn't been baptized for 3 months.
Let's describe the pickle. The pickle is, do you force upon your daughter something she doesn't want so that it looks okay to the court?
And that, yes. And that I'm not held in contempt. And this is not, I don't really freaking care if I'm held in contempt or go to jail for that matter, to give her the right to choose. But but also that harms the kids.
Right. So your choice is, do you harm the kid and your relationship
Right.
with them, or do you do what's right for your kid and for you and risk it in the court?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's exactly where I was standing. And so when my bishop's like, what's going on? And I was like, look, you interview her for the baptism and see what she wants, so that I am not a part of this. I don't have the priesthood. I'm not going to be the one baptizing. You ask her what she wants. And that's exactly what he did in the baptismal interview. She mentioned that she didn't even want the petitioner in attendance. And then my bishop was
Because
like,
she felt bad.
she felt bad. Yes, that was like, bless her little heart. She felt bad. She didn't want to see him, sitting there watching her get baptized by grandpa, not because she's angry. Well, she's angry and she's hurt, but she mostly didn't want to make him feel bad.
She's worried about how he feels about it.
Yeah, because she knows that it should have been him, but also she knows that why would I choose him when he's not even in my life? Like, she's a smart little girl.
Yeah.
So she was 8 in November. We've been waiting forever. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm not willing to force, because there's been so many women that have reached out to me this week and said, my poor daughter was baptized by her dad, and we don't even talk about it because it's such a horrible memory. And I did not want that for Kenya. I did not want her like hating her baptism. Like, how, I mean, that's the,
this is the really sad thing about divorce, is too often something that should be about the kid is not about the kid. It's about the parents.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this should have nothing to do with either of you specifically, right? Like, of course you're there. Of course you're part of it. But like, it shouldn't be your will or his will. It should always be hers.
Well, and that's why I tried to stay out of that conversation. I was like, you do it. And that's why when my bishop like talked with he was like, look, Kenya doesn't even want him there, but I did say to her, if he's there, is it going to be okay? And of course she's like, I mean, I guess. And his bishop at that point had said, he just wants to be in attendance. And we were like, great. That's great. He's welcome to come. But then, a couple weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, and I send a message on our parenting app where I said, like, I understand that Kenya has chosen my dad and neighbor to baptize and confirm. Like, I'm saying, I understand that this is what was decided. Like, I had nothing to do with it. This was decided. Of course, no response from him.
And he probably doesn't believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wanted that on the record. Like, I understand that this is what happened between the discussion between our bishops. No response, but I wanted to acknowledge that I didn't make that decision. She did with my bishop. Anyway, it gets confusing, but later his bishop came back to mine and said, actually, I think that I'm going to come in place of Alex instead of him being there, and I'll live stream the ordinance for him. And my bishop was like, yes, let's do that. That's a great compromise. And I said, no. And he was like, I mean, wait, why? Why? This is great. Like, it's going to be uncomfortable with him there. It's just going to be, because everybody knows that it's supposed to be him.
Well, even if that wasn't the issue, it's going to be uncomfortable because of the current situation in your life.
Yeah, right? I mean, we have a hearing in 5 days, and here he is baptized. It'd be
and everybody in that room was there for you.
And everybody in that room, to be honest with you, Carly, has been affected by his choice.
Right.
Not just the 8 kids and me. He's got all of the nieces and nephews there that are watching, who have been in his life their whole lives.
Right.
I mean, the 2 babies that were born, my 2 nephews were 18 months when he joined the family. And they're now 20 something. And so I remember one of my nieces was like, wait, he's not my uncle anymore. What? It's like, they've lost this family member too.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the pain is harder with us, but like, every single person in that room was affected.
Yeah.
And bugged.
We had, in my family, something similar. One of my aunts was married to a stake president who just shocked me. He was my favorite uncle. Like, I kid you not, my whole life, this was my favorite uncle. I loved him. And all of a sudden, he tells his wife, you only have to keep the covenants to make you happy. And being married to you doesn't make me happy. This is a sitting stake president.
Holy cow.
I know. So I was like the whole family was shocked. He had married one of my siblings, and that sibling was like, what do I do with this? That sibling's not active in the church anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You know, like,
who would blame
like
him? Yeah.
his choices devastated so many people because he was an example.
Was he disciplined?
I don't really know the details of what happened. I haven't talked to him in years now.
So, but yeah, you've lost an uncle.
I've lost an uncle, but also, like, it was disheartening from the level of priesthood authority and how I saw the priesthood. And, like, I mean, I think it's dangerous to just assume that anybody is righteous anyway, but you think a stake president, you think a bishop, you think, you know what I mean? You expect them, we talked about this a little bit.
It's a higher standard.
Yeah, you just assume because they are counseling other people and they are signing temple recommends and they are, you know what I mean? Like, they at least have to be as good as they expect you to be, right? And I know there's two sides to every story. I know that I only know my aunt's side, but there's just nothing he could say or do to make what he did okay. Like you
Like
just,
nothing that she did merited what he.
I don't care how hard she
wanted.
was to live with or whatever he's going to say. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing, how he handled it, what he did. He ended up, I shouldn't say this, but he ended up married again to somebody that he had counseled.
Oh, geez.
And
there must have been something going on before.
That's what people assume, and I can't say that. I don't want to say that at all.
I will.
I don't want to accuse him of anything. It looks bad though.
But
and
the point
it was her
is,
friend.
It's like he was out of your life too.
Yeah, it like my life, my siblings' lives, like if he was to come into the same room as my family now, I don't could I look at him? Would I walk away? I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd want to spit on him.
So imagine the petitioner walking into the baptism, and everyone's just, it's this massive elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know, that we're all just staring. We're all like, okay, well, what's going to happen? But back to the bishop saying, I'm just going to come and live stream for him. My bishop's all for it. And it seems great. He doesn't have to be there. But I said, nope, I'm not doing that. And my bishop was just like, why? And I said, because I know exactly what opposing counsel will do. If he doesn't show up and his bishop live streams, they will do one of two things. They'll either accuse me of, they'll say, Your Honor, in a hearing, she wouldn't even allow him to come to the baptism. And if they decide to be a little bit more honest than that, then they'll say, Your Honor, we were forced to live stream because of how hostile she was. And I know this because it had happened before. Like,
that doesn't sound honest at all.
No.
Actually.
Well, it had happened when Nico was having all of his clubfoot appointments. I said in a hearing, like, he doesn't show up to any of these appointments. You know, you're saying that I'm making these unilateral decisions on his childcare and on his foot, which, by the way, I handled 99% of the boots and bar on his little club feet. I was strapping them every single night and lotioning and oiling. I feel like Squints on Sandlot. And I was, you know, fixing the bruises and were the ulcers on his feet? I can't even, pressure sores. And suddenly my care of him was used as punishment. Now, all of the care that I had provided for little Nico as an infant with his club feet was used as evidence against me for unilateral decision making because I didn't include him on. And I'm like, well, first of all, I did put the appointments in, but he would never show up. But then I'm ordered to tell him about the appointment, what was said, the time that I went, the date that I went, the notes that the doctor said. Like, this is so much work, and he's not even showing up. Why should I have to do that? And so that was used against me because I'm going to these appointments, but not letting him know every single detail that happened to the appointment. And so suddenly now I'm being punished for taking care of my little baby. Same thing kind of happens if he doesn't show up to the baptism, but I'm ordered to tell him who did what, where, when, and why, but he doesn't have to show up and do anything. So they said that because of mother's hostility, father should not have to attend any appointments with the children.
What?
Yes.
Again, this is not about you. This is about the kids.
Uh-huh.
Are you kidding
But because
me?
of mother's hostility, father should not have to attend
What is
any
hostile?
appointments.
What are they declaring as hostile?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. That's all he would say is that she's hostile.
What? Can I just declare
But remember,
people hostile?
But these hearings are 10 minutes. So it's not like they are saying, it's not like she's like, well, how is she hostile, Mr. Like
It's
attorney?
just the attorney saying that you are.
So anyway, that's kind of a long explanation for why I was like, no, he can't come and live stream because I'm going to be accused either way. If he live streams, they're going to accuse me of being the reason.
Yeah.
She's so hostile that he can't even be there, so he has to live stream. So even though this was his decision to make, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. So he ended up coming, and he came with his bishop, and it was hella awkward. It was really
For
awkward.
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I dare talk about the parts that were painful, but my kids were hurt by interactions, you know, because some of family members and friends have not seen him in almost 4 years. So they've grown and they've gotten, you know, older and more mature. And he's like, oh, wow, look at you. And hugging some of them while my kids are staring at this, not being acknowledged that they're even there by him. It was painful. So it's like, I just wanted this to be over and done. Like, get in, get out, dunk her, and let's get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
So, and Kenya's kind of like hiding in the font area. Like, it was uncomfortable. But then, so she gets baptized and she does a great job. And then it's time for the confirmation. And it's like, you know, it's standard for the person giving the ordination or the confirmation to invite brothers into the circle. It's typically brothers-in-law, grandpa, bishop. But remember now, Scott, the neighbor, is doing the confirming. And I don't think he feels like he has the right to be like, okay, hey, you come on up and you come on up.
Right.
He doesn't even know my brothers, you know, and brothers-in-law. So it's just like quiet. And the bishop says, just because it's what he's used to saying, and those of you who have been invited to come into the circle, please do so now. And everyone's just looking at each other. Do I go up? I wasn't invited. Well, but Scott's not going to come invite us, you know? But we're all...
I didn't pick up on that while I was saying that.
In the corner of our eye, we're all looking at the petitioner like, is he going to get up?
I think I was too distracted with my kids. That's funny.
So it was uncomfortable.
There's some tension.
I think at one point my sister was like, Dallin, you get up. That's my nephew who's a return missionary. And she told her husband, Blake, go get up in the circle. Well, I haven't been invited. So what? Get up there. So it's not just like two people, you know, putting their hands on her head. So he did not get up into the circle, which I'm grateful for, because she would have not even been able to focus on the blessing or the ordination or confirmation. So it was like over and done, and he was out of there. I didn't even see him once the closing prayer was said. Gone. So it was all awkward. I had been dreading it, and it's just so sad. And for all of the women and men that are dealing with this, these milestones in the church become dreadful. Mm-hmm. Like you are dreading them.
Well, it's like layer upon layer upon layer with nuance and history and all sorts of stuff. It just isn't, I mean, there's been some times in our, you know, parenting and marriage where it wasn't quite so black and white for me and all of that stuff either. And it made it hard, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I've been more active and he hasn't. And it's always worked out. And it's made me have a lot of compassion and understanding for families that don't fit the mold. You know, like I'm grateful that we had some years there that were hard because I can relate to people in a different, and I'd say a better way. But I still can't imagine so much where, you know, even when we were struggling with this kind of thing, it was always still about our kids, you know? And I really feel for these 8 humans who are getting gypped.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not that you have to have a dad do these things in order to not be gypped. They're getting gypped because it's not about them. It's the court dictating things.
And that's where I will pat myself on the back. Okay. Because I want all these kids to choose who they want to have, confirm them, baptize them, ordain them, all the things. And Kenya chose my dad and Scott, whereas Ari chose the petitioner to ordain him a deacon the following day.
And if you had any influence or choice in the matter, it would not have been that
It
way.
would not have been him. Yeah. But I wanted to honor Ari's request, no matter how uncomfortable and awful it was for me to sit in the same room as him.
I feel like the ordination, I wasn't there for that one, but I feel like that one would be worse than the baptism, because I got to the baptism late, and when I got there, like there were 2 seats left. You know, it was like, it's a full
and that's
room.
because like I asked the primary, will you invite the primary? Because, you know, in past baptisms and ordinations, some family and friends hadn't turned up because they don't want to be in the same room. They're worried that they might say something, cause a scene at such a special day for the little kid, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, please have the, and you know, I was just like, look, I don't even know when this baptism is happening. It might be that they come to some agreement and I have to do it this Saturday. So we have to be like ready to go, ask the primary to come. And so there were a lot of kids there, which I was so glad for.
It was awesome. And I think it relieved some of the tension because there were people in between you, right? Different sides of the room. You know, you're in the front and he's in the back. Yep. You're on the right, he's on the left. You know, like I think that made it better because you could, I mean, honestly avoid each other. I don't know a better way to do it than that, right?
Right.
But when you do an ordination, it's usually in a small room. Did you do it in the bishop's office?
In the bishop's office. I didn't want anybody to come because it's like I'm then worried about how my mom and dad are going to feel in there. And they were fine, but like it's awkward. Me and my mom are just kind of sitting there looking at each other like, how is this even happening? When he's extremely far behind in the arrears, but somehow has all of the same rights and privileges as my, you know, dad and next door neighbor and brothers who are providing for their families. You know, I was like, how does this just is wrong. It felt wrong to me, but
well, it's not about money. I think we have to be very
careful. But not even so much money, but even it's emotionally involved, physically involved.
It's more that. It's more, I think it's easy to focus on the money because it affects your everyday so
but
much.
Also, that's what the question that's asked in the temple recommend interviews.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't say, are you current with your family emotionally?
Yeah.
You know, those don't really, I mean, they ask that specific question. So that's the one that that's the only thing I can use, you know, I don't want to say against him, but I can use to say, look, he's not abiding by this. But at the end of the day, physically, emotionally, financially, all the things, there's a void.
Yeah, it's the lack of a relationship. To me, it's like money is money and it affects a lot, but it's just money, right? At the end of the day, what matters, what we take with us in the next life are our relationships. Yeah. That's what this whole thing is about. Yep. That's why we're here, is to build these relationships. Yeah. And it just feels so icky.
It was icky. So it's me and him across the room from each other, just having this like stare down, but we didn't even look at each other. And then my mom and dad on my side, and of course Ari's sitting next to him. But mind you, in the paperwork, you know, to the court I filed a motion to enforce simply to say he has not paid what he's supposed to pay. His counter motion to enforce rips me a new one. Oh, yeah? Well, the reason that he's not, you know, paying what he's supposed to pay is because she's disparaged him. Oh, and also she made a unilateral decision to have the child baptized by her grandpa. Oh, and also she has disparaged and defamed. And also she hasn't paid him out of the IRA yet. Also, she's supposed to pay him this much money out of the equity. Like, just started listing off all of these things.
Which wasn't even accurate. I mean, all of that is all garbage.
Well, and that's why my attorney was like, look, it's all red herrings. It's to deflect and to distract from the current issue.
Not just red herrings, flat out lies.
Yes, because they said she was supposed to pay him equity. And I'm like, no, in the decree.
Not for 5 years.
Not for 5 years.
Yeah. The only thing, so before we started filming, I was like, Julie, what can we actually say? And the thing is the stuff that I'm thinking about is all from the hearing that was a public hearing. So if you were there, you know this stuff. So it's not like...
Gosh, maybe I should post the link to the hearings because any of them can log in, truly. Any of them can.
I mean, I suppose you could.
You guys can hear it for yourselves. I will post the link and be like, come join my hearing. You guys can all hear it for yourselves.
It's actually maddening. It's really quite maddening. But in the hearing, I did the math, and it was like they're making a stink because you haven't paid him almost 20th. It's like 1/19 of what he owes you. Mm-hmm. It's like, we can't go ahead with this motion to enforce because Julie still owes him this amount of money and he still owes her this amount of money. So the attorneys need to come together and agree to like cancel it out or whatever. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Why are we here? And
oh
why
my
can't
gosh.
you function? Like, we can do the math really fast in our head right now.
I know.
This is not that hard.
I know. So we're in the room. We can talk about the hearing in the next podcast, but we're in the room and I'm sure it's uncomfortable for my bishop and it's uncomfortable for me and it's uncomfortable for Ari. I mean, as we were walking in, he was like,
I wondered because Ari is like the petitioner's biggest ally, maybe. Mm-hmm. He's the one that loves him the most, right? They have the best
because
connection.
He's desperate for his affection and adoration and he knows what's going on. But he
struggled the most with the divorce.
Oh, yeah. Still does. But like somehow in his heart thinks that he's going to come back to us. To where I finally had to say, Ari, I don't want him back. I had to like break his heart to understand, like, not only is he not going to come back to me, now I don't want him back. Like I had to seriously, like, just cut him to the core. Mm-hmm. But he's still, I think, hopeful. And he sat next to the petitioner but he said to me, Mom, but then you're going to have to be in the same room as him. Like, I don't want that. I said, I'm sorry, Ari. I said, but you know what?
This all sucks for kids so bad.
I know. I said, Ari, I can do this. I'm a big girl. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm saying is, though, they rip on me for all of these things, the baptism and the money and the disparaging, but they failed to put in there, but he was allowed to ordain, the son.
And it was the daughter's choice.
Yes.
And they okayed it. And it's all in text. And they make it sound as awful as humanly possible. And the truth is so far from what they say.
Yeah. I wish that they would have said, respectfully, I didn't make them choose it. If I really was disparaging and slandering, and if I was brainwashing and filling these kids' minds with filth about him, you better dang well know it would not have been him ordaining Ari.
Yeah.
Or baptizing Treyu or baptizing Ari. As much as it tastes like vinegar coming out of my mouth or, watching it, I wanted them to be the ones to decide. And I'm going to have to be the adult and the big girl that sits in the room.
Yep.
And just take it.
Yep.
And I hated it. But it was for Ari. And we were in and out.
And that's part of what being an adult is,
yep.
right? Like
doing things we don't want to do.
Yeah, for your children.
Having the hard conversations, being nice versus kind, you know? Yeah. So that happened. And I just was so glad to get home and be like, it's done. And now what? I'm like, now I wait for the punishment. Mm-hmm. Now I'll go to the hearing and be told how awful I was for making the baptism somehow hostile. I will be accused of prolonging the ordination because I was trying to make it so it wasn't. I mean, they will come up with anything they can to make me be this horrible person. And this is happening to women everywhere. And I want you to know I see you and I know because it's happened to me. Even when you do all the things right, even when you do everything right, you're still going to be to blame. They're going to give them a million chances and you will get none. So we can, I guess, talk about the hearing in the next one. But that's how the baptism went and the ordination. I'm glad it's over. So glad it's over, which is so sad. Now you've got 18
months, so you do it again?
18 months, so we do it again, which is going to be Nico's baptism.
Almost done, right? You have, 2 more after?
But then I think of missions and I think of weddings and I kind of want to just...
No, don't think that far.
Yeah, I'm not going to think that far because it makes me kind of want to dry heave.
No.
But I did want to mention, before we get into the next topic, that, first of all, before I forget, I have dogs still up for sale. I think I'm going to have 2 left tomorrow. We've sold 2, maybe another one tomorrow. There's probably going to be 2 puppies left. And I'm also still dog sitting. I got a lot of dogs at my house right now, which I am so thankful for. Like, bless these dogs and bless the people that are calling me to watch them, because I'm literally surviving off of these dogs.
You also go to their house.
I also go to their house.
At your house.
I let them out of their crates. I take some dogs I'm a professional dog walker, all the things. And having said that, I wanted to clarify for some family and friends or relatives or whoever listens to this podcast, and sometimes I get surprised by who listens, that I may have made it sound like that family is not supportive. And I wanted to clarify that I've never said that they're not supportive, and I love my family and I'm thankful for them and for the help that they have given me. And you have to remember that after 3.5 years of this, family and friends and bishops and best friends get fatigued of it. They kind of want to be like, okay, let's move on. I'm done talking about your drama. I'm done talking about what he owes you. I'm done talking about how you're struggling. Like, move on with your life. And I get it. I totally get that. But
it's just part of your everyday life.
It's just my everyday life. And so I made a comment, well, we both did a few podcasts ago, and I don't even remember, but I think we were making a joke and laughing about how, I'm watching family members and friends, travel the world and enjoy their lives. And of course I'm jealous. Of course I want to be on these trips, but also I'm so happy for them. And then we joke that
you get to watch their dogs.
I get to watch their dogs.
You get to watch them go travel while you watch their dogs.
Yes. And I've offended some family because I've watched some of their dogs, and I want to publicly apologize to family members, because I'm so grateful for the dogs. It's because of these dogs that we have this roof over our heads, and my kids can still be in their sports. So I did want to clarify that support comes in many different ways. Just because my family's not like dropping cash off of my doorstep, which I don't expect them to do, just because they're not paying my attorney fees, or they're, not just like taking care of my mortgage. I don't expect that, but they are providing support in other ways. I have friends providing support. I have a friend who helps pay for my gym membership. She just kind of added me onto her family membership. I have a sister that always calls me and says, okay, I'm going to Costco. What do you need? My mom will give me, and dad will give me several Costco cards. Okay, with $500 on it, go get whatever you need. People will drop off stuff that's about to be thrown out at what's that store? Winco. I was thinking something else, but yeah. Then, the leftovers and the funeral food and DI clothes that are about to go, to be donated, but they bring to us. So support's not just always cash, but then there's the cash droppers who just anonymously hand over some cash. So I'm so thankful
and also,
for all of it.
There's also prayers, right? There's phone calls. There's
and the people that are always like, I put your name on the temple prayer roll. I'm like, yes. And my sweet friend put my puppies on the prayer roll.
Oh, that's cute.
So if my family and siblings and relatives and cousins are listening, and I have ever come across like, well, my family doesn't support me, that's just not the truth.
I think in the particular comment about the dogs, it was just the dichotomy, right? It wasn't that there's bitterness or hatred or any ill feelings towards the siblings traveling and leaving the dog with you.
Yeah, I was glad that they did.
Right. It's because Julie does not like handouts. She likes to earn it. Mm-hmm. So that's a way to earn money, right? But it's just that dichotomy between, you're always the one that you're like, I deserve this. I made these choices. I whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's that extreme accountability. But even when you take accountability, it still sucks to sit and watch people go and have a good time when that could have been your life under different circumstances. Yeah. And it's not. And the last podcast where you're talking about dating and stuff, you're kind of in this place where you're like, and it will never be my life, right? It's like, I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced that you're never going to get married, and you're not going to know happiness, and you're not going to ever have any sort of green in your bank statements. It'll always be red, but I feel like you're in this moment where it sure feels that way. And so when you're surrounded by people that are living completely opposite and more like what you would like to be living like, it's a dagger to the heart, but not because of them. Right. It's just that reminder. And so it's not commentary on them, it's on you. And I think that's what you want to clarify. Is
Yes, thank you.
You know, we're just telling stories and talking in ways to try and demonstrate a feeling. And it's really hard.
It's like, it is. It's setting up the stage to be like, look, I mean, it's like when the petitioner would go and he would get ripped on. I remember he was in Hawaii and in Brazil, and he was on the beach, and he showed his like feet on a lounge chair and like a soda pop or some yummy drink with an umbrella in it. And then the ocean view. And I see that on Instagram and I just chuck my phone because I'm dealing with vomiting children, diarrhea, you know.
Was this when you were married or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I didn't say anything to him because I knew I would have.
It wouldn't do any good anyway.
No, and he would have been upset with me. But other people did. And they'd say, how dare you post this? Well, your wife is, because I was vlogging.
Right. So they knew what was happening in your home.
But I mean, even if I wasn't, we all know that moms are struggling, whether dad is home or not, you know, because we just stay at home moms. It's hard, you know, dealing with it all.
Even if you weren't a stay-at-home mom, even if you're working, and
moms,
your husband is in Hawaii without you, like that sucks no matter what.
Right. But to post a picture of yourself but he would get mad at me when he'd get home and say, "Well, people are ripping on me and thinking that I'm just living the high life while you're here in doom and gloom," and basically told me like, stop being so depressing and stop posting. He did not like when I posted authenticity. He did not like when I posted real life.
It's because he's a performer.
Mm-hmm. So anytime that he was having a great time,
that's when he posted.
Yeah. And it would make it seem like I was this horrible, negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, hated life, hated being a mother, when I was just posting my everyday life because I was alone. Mm-hmm. And I could never go out. I could never do anything. I couldn't go get a babysitter when I had sick kids. And so I kind of made my own virtual community with Instagram and YouTube. And I would post on that and I'd have comments.
It's your outlet and your journal and your community.
But I would get in trouble for it. And so that kind of is, but I would make sure that I was like, no, I'm so happy that you're having this outlet. I'm so happy that, you know, at least you get to enjoy this and see the world, and I'll sacrifice, you know, my share of that, I guess, or I'll sacrifice my, you know, ability to get there with my own talent by staying at home with kids. But
you love your spouse and you will do anything to see your spouse happy. Like,
it was devotion.
Yes, I would do that for my husband.
Yeah.
I would say, yes, go do that work trip and enjoy like, if you're going to be there, I want you to enjoy it, right? Like, don't be there and be miserable. That'll make me more mad.
Yeah.
You know, go. So I think it's a normal, healthy thing for a wife to kind of be like a little grumpy, but like, I support you. I love you. I want you to be there. Like, it's that and principle.
Yes.
You can be sad that you're at home and happy that your spouse is enjoying himself, right? Like, it is possible. But the problem is it should go both ways.
I was going to say, the problem is it was never me on the other end.
Right. The problem is it should be him willing to do the same thing for you.
Yes.
That's when it's okay.
But he'd say, well, this is work. This is my work. And that, you know, that's fine. But the truth is I could never complain about it or I'd be in big trouble. And so I made a good, healthy habit of being happy for him, which has actually helped me in my life now. I'm happy for my siblings who are having amazing lives. I'm happy for my friends who are killing it in their businesses and in their marriages, and their kids are thriving. And also, I'm so depressed about it.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's important to talk about. I think it's important to declare the and principle right here and now and say, these two things can coexist. And it's okay. And it's healthy for them to coexist. Right? Like, you need to be real about your life, because eventually you're going to go crazy if you aren't.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not a performer. I mean, you are a dancer and a singer and all of those things. But you're so many things before you're a performer.
Well,
right?
this is real. Like, I'm talking real stuff right here. I'm not performing and masking everything with my performance.
No, but your ex, I feel like, was a constant. He didn't go in and out of performing. He was just performing all the time.
Well, and anytime we were with him, it was almost a requirement to look the part. You know, the kids, I mean, I get it. We all want our kids looking decent when they go places, but he was like adamant on hair done, you know, matching this, matching that, would ask me to change my clothes because we were an appendage, you know, to the performance. And not that we look like hooligans. I mean, sometimes they'd go to school with their hair messed up, but he didn't care about that.
Right.
He doesn't care if they go to school with their hair messed up. It was if they were with him, because we were like pieces of him, on display. But I mean, so that was a whole nother podcast we can talk about and maybe continue with, is the and principle of, being upset and hurt and depressed that he has left us, basically to fend for ourselves, and angry and resentful and bitter, and have compassion and mercy and pain that he has made this decision that will affect the rest of his life too. It's
the balancing of the proving, or the balancing of the two contraries, right? There's always two contraries that we're trying to balance, and it's justice and mercy. It's fear and doubt. It's, you could list probably 100 of them, but you have to know one to know the other. And part of why we're here is to figure out how to balance these things,
Right.
And any justice left without mercy would go too far, and mercy without justice would go too far, right? You need them both.
Yeah.
And as you're dealing with these complex feelings, especially when I hear you talk about your family, and dealing with how you feel and how you're communicating, it is really hard to try and communicate effectively how you're feeling about something, in a way that other people will understand it.
Yeah.
And then to not offend anybody along the way, and to validate other people's feelings. Like, it's messy. It is so messy, because you don't want your experience to negatively affect other relationships,
Right.
but you also don't want to hide it. You also don't, like, I have a hard time when you talk about your family and they don't know what's going on, because you don't know how to tell them.
Yeah.
You don't, it's like, I want you so badly to tell them, but then you have all these conflicting things. Like, I don't want to be the negative Nancy, or I don't want, whatever the reason
Don't
is.
be a victim. Like, move on. You think you're the only one in this position? Get over it.
Yeah.
And, there's truth to that, but also I'm still, like, we're still hurting because we're still being, like, stabbed, you know what I mean? Like, in the heart in family court. Like, it's not,
Right.
We're still in it.
He left, 4 years ago?
In the summer, it'll be 4 years.
4 years. So almost 4 years ago. The divorce decree, like the final divorce, was this last summer. So
3 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got time behind you. And so for people outside of the situation, they're ready to move on. But what they don't understand is those were just 2 events in 1,000 events.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is something that continues to happen, just like the baptism and this latest hearing. And there's always something else. There's always a way that this is impacting your life.
Yep.
And so it's new.
Yeah. I mean, every day it's like I'm living and breathing it every single day that I wake up. And so when they're like, it's still going on, you have another court case. Like, if I were to file a motion today, it would be heard by the courts in May.
Yeah.
So you wait another 5 months, And I was also going to touch on, when I was, trying to clarify that I'm not trying to insult family, or that I'm not grateful for their help or support. Like, I have punished myself enough. I have ripped on myself enough and said, all of the self-degrading things, like, I deserve this.
Yeah, you gaslight yourself all the time.
Yeah, and I know that there's women out there that do the same thing, and it's so unhealthy, but we can't help ourselves. It's my own fault. I married him. It's my own fault. I had 8 children. I didn't have to have that many. So here, let me just go ask for help. Help me out with this, when you made the choices. I made the choices.
Yeah.
I decided to do this. I am 100% responsible for my decisions. So to go and ask for help, especially when my parents discouraged it to begin with, not because of race, like, don't even go there. Not because of even,
they just saw some red flags.
They saw the red flags of being able to provide for a family, of, not even being a citizen of the country. They're worried about, like, well, what's the real intent here? Like, all things that any parent would worry about. So I'm like, well, I was warned, and I went through it for it anyway. And I deserve this. This is my punishment.
Which, for the record, to all women or anybody in this situation, nobody deserves this. Nobody. I mean, I appreciate accountability. I appreciate somebody that can say, I made these choices, so I need to fix it the best that I can. But this is proving of the two contraries again. This is the and principle.
Yeah.
Yes, you made those choices, and they never should have led to where they are now.
Yeah.
Yes, you made those choices, and somebody else made other choices,
Yeah.
right? Like, I really like that you're not somebody that's crying victim and saying, everybody help me, and I need this or I need that. But you also have to be able to say, you know what? I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to earn this.
No.
And I'm only one person, and I was never meant to do this alone. There's so many things that will fall into place once you realize that, okay, I am worthy and deserving of help, of support, and not just you, your children.
Yeah.
Because who cares? I mean, obviously we care about your choices, but why are we talking about your choices when we have 8 people to take care of?
I
right?
know. And eight
Who
souls.
made 0 choices?
I know.
0 choices. So it's kind of like when I was a Laurel advisor, one of my Laurels got pregnant.
Really?
Yeah. And actually I had my 3rd baby 3 months before or after her. I can't remember. But
She full on had the baby.
yeah, her kid and my kid are very close in age.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a little bit of to do of like, well, do we have a baby shower or do we not?
I've had the same
It's
thing
like-
happen to one of my friends.
Yeah, and the conclusion.
Do you celebrate the sin?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the conclusion was, it's already done.
Yes.
The baby is coming. The baby did nothing wrong. We're going to celebrate this life.
Yeah.
It's not about the choice.
In my situation, they canceled.
What?
They said no shower.
Who did? Did
Just
the girl who
women
was
in my
pregnant
ward.
or the ward people did?
No, yeah, the ward people did.
It wasn't the girl who was pregnant that
Yeah.
canceled her own
No,
thing.
Uh-uh.
See,
It wasn't canceled. It wasn't even thrown.
they didn't do it.
It was my suggestion. I'm like, well, let's throw her a shower. But it was like, no. We don't celebrate
No, it's
her
garbage.
actions.
That's garbage.
I know.
Because here's a principle. I mean, if I teach you guys nothing other than this is the one thing I want the whole world to know. Are we ready for this?
Ready.
If you don't feel loved, nothing else matters.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know that I love you and the words coming out of my mouth are intended to help you and to show you love and to, improve your life in some way, then nothing I say matters.
Right.
You don't hear it the way it's intended. You don't receive it. You don't do anything with it. You don't love me back. Like, you have to feel loved in order to care about somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
You have to feel loved in order to improve and be motivated and all. Like, love is the force that changes everything.
Yeah.
And if you want this 16-year-old girl who's pregnant and having a baby to change her
Her ways,
trajectory,
yep.
it's not going to be out of judgment. It's going to be because you love her into it. You show her the better way. You love her into it. Like, there's just, you can
Plus,
guilt
we're not
and
the parent
shame.
or the,
No,
Yeah.
it's not our job, first of all.
Yeah.
But second of all, you cannot guilt or shame anybody into permanent change.
Yeah.
You love them into it.
Yep.
And it's not our job. It is not our job, right? What would Jesus do? When the woman was caught in adultery, when they brought her in, he started writing on the ground with his foot to distract so people would stop looking at her, right? Like, it's not about shaming people. It's about loving people, right? So out of all of this, the goal should be, how do we love each other better? The
Yeah.
reason why my husband and I are still married is because for years, that's all we talked about in therapy. How do you love each other better? What does that look like? And that goes for any relationship, whether
Yeah.
it's parents or siblings
Yeah.
or, marriages, whatever. So if we learn nothing other than that, it should be, how do we love better?
Yeah.
What is the loving choice here?
Oh, I love that. This is why we have conversations with Carly.
So I
Right?
get mad.
No, she's got the
Got a little
wisdom.
heated.
Yeah, because man, there's just so much behind all of this that I don't even know how to start or finish the next sentence because my brain is
There's so much complexity and
oh
so
my gosh,
much.
it's like on overload with thinking of the baptism, thinking of the ordination, thinking of how I've offended and believe me, it won't be the last time I offend someone on this podcast by something that I say
that you
or
didn't intend.
that I didn't intend, and it's tricky putting yourself out there and getting ripped on for it on something. I mean, that's not been the only comment about things that people are finding beef with on this podcast. And that's what happens when you put yourself out there. But just love me. Okay. Anyway,
this is one more thing that I will say that I have decided as a parent. I do think it's our job to teach our kids, but you really have to realize that the world's going to do a really good job of beating the crap out of them, right? Like if you have a kid that is a little bit prideful, that thinks a little highly of themselves, don't worry. The world will beat it out of them, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to realize when Julie says she's beat herself up, she's beat herself up, and so is the rest of the world. Like she does not need, sometimes she'll tell me things that people around her are saying, and I'm like, they really think that you haven't heard that or that that's helpful. They really think that you haven't told yourself that 100 times. Like that's not helpful. It is not helpful to beat anybody down or point out the obvious. We all see our own flaws, right? And if we don't, the world will show them to us real fast.
Yeah. And I'm here to tell you, I have told family, I know that I'm not looking for anybody to come rescue me except Jesus. Like it's no one's responsibility to come and dig me out of this mess.
I mean, we'd love some sponsors. We'd love some
yes,
help.
We would.
But there's no expectation.
Yeah. I don't expect that of family. I don't expect that of friends. I don't hold it against anybody for not asking me on the daily, like, okay, well, what's happening now? And I do have friends that do that. And I love them for it. And Carly's one of them. Like I'm forwarding her things from the court, just like I need somebody else's eyes because, you get too emotional about it or you start to embellish things and make something more serious than it is. And anyway, so, but I don't expect handouts. I don't expect anybody to come and step in and save the day because this is, my mess to clean up and it is my choices. But having said that, I didn't deserve it. And for any of you going through the same thing that have punished yourselves and said, I deserve this. This is my punishment for making stupid decisions, for picking the wrong guy. I've said to myself, I have poor taste in men.
You've said that a time or two.
I don't trust my own personal revelation. I clearly got it wrong and God doesn't talk to me. All these things. It's just Satan. It's Satan in your mind and in mine.
I have this analogy that's coming to my brain right now because I just thought it feels to me when you're saying I don't expect handouts or anything like that. It feels to me like you're on this marathon, right? I have never ran a marathon. I probably never will. But I do know that when you run marathons, there's like these stations, right? There's
water.
like water stations and depending
gel
on
packets.
Exactly. Depending on how far it is, there's porta potties, there's whatever, right? And I feel like you chose to go on this marathon, but you like paid the fee and made the schedule when you weren't alone and like your situation was very different in life, right? But you still decided you're going to run this marathon. It's paid for. You're going to go. You're going to do it. But now you're saying to yourself, you know what? This marathon is miserable and I chose to do it. So I don't deserve the packets of gel sugar. I don't get the porta potty. I don't get the water because I did this to myself. I'm running this marathon. It makes no sense, right? You deserve all the same things that you deserved before.
Yeah.
What you have earned and what you're working for, it's still the same. What the petitioner has done to you doesn't change the marathon. It just changes the help along the way that you need, right? Like you don't, so when you do Lodaja, that's Logan to Jackson, the biking thing, they have cars that like follow you. Yeah, exactly. And they're your support system.
Same with boats in the water when you're swimming.
Right. So it's like you're still doing that race, but the boat that was supposed to be there, the car that was supposed to, it's not there anymore.
And suck it up. You did this to yourself.
But you still deserve that car back there, that boat back there. You still deserve it. But now you rely on other people. You have to rely on other people to do it. And you're not expecting it. But I still think it needs to be done. And I still think you deserve it. Yeah. And I think you need to be careful in allowing yourself to set up a different scenario. Just because you sign up for the marathon or Lodaja or whatever under different circumstances doesn't mean that the rules have changed or your value has changed or the trophy at the end has changed or anything else. It just means that the way you get there has changed and the people along the way have changed. And
And it's okay if we have a few more water stations than maybe the other runners. It's okay if we have to stop at 3 more potty breaks.
Yeah.
Porta potties. And if we get more gel packets than someone else, like, I'm not saying no to the help, but I also don't want to throw myself at someone's feet saying, save me. I mean, you want to, but I never would, because
but in this spot,
blamed myself.
But in this analogy, it's that footsteps poem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not expecting anybody to carry you along this journey. You're not expecting anybody to put on the shoes themselves and do it for you, carry you on their back or whatever. You're expecting to see the Savior along the way and to carry you when you need. But what you do need and you do deserve and you can expect are the water stations and the gel packets. And if you have to grab an extra handful of gel packets, do it.
Yeah.
You get what you need. And I think that is a fair expectation. But I think it's kind of self-preservation to say, oh, I don't need anybody to help, or I don't expect it, because when it doesn't come, it hurts.
It does. Yeah, it does, because you hate to ask, or you have asked and you can't ask anymore. You have used and abused your resources, and you've either got to find new ones or figure this out on your own, because no one's coming to rescue you. And I wouldn't want them to. Like, they shouldn't have to be suffering for I feel like Adam and Eve, for my own transgressions, right? I didn't sin, but this is it feels like a transgression in my life, because it was I don't even want to say bad choice, because I believe these 8 kids were always going to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Satan part of me says, well, they probably could have gone to another stable.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That's a lie.
Yep.
Satan, get thee hence.
Yeah. Get thee behind me.
Yeah.
All right. We're an hour in.
On that note, what's the Wayne's World line?
Oh, yes. I don't know, because I've never seen Wayne's World.
Party on, Wayne. Isn't
Party
it?
on, Garth?
Yeah.
Is it Garth?
Yes. I mean, that was such a party of a podcast episode.
It sure was.
Party
Welcome
on.
to the Gritty Mamas podcast. We will see you next time.
So now you know what it means to be gritty. It can be dirty, but you're still so pretty. Now make a pledge and never take no pity. Baby, welcome to the gritty committee. She's a gritty girl and she got gritty plans. So get out the way so she can wash her hair.